What is going on, guys? I'm sure a lot of you are aware that our skin creators for CSGO now have access to the Source 2 models, so they can start making skins for that. And today I went onto the Steam Workshop and I found some of my favorite skins that are tagged with the CS2 tag, and I wanted to show them to you guys here today. And hopefully, just maybe when CS2 comes out, we'll see some of these added to the game. Please let me know down in the comments below which of these skins you guys like the most. And with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and look at some skins. Alright guys, to start us off, I've got an absolute juicer. I've got the P90 Tengu. It's kind of muted, you know, we're using like a darker palette, but it really makes those like muted reds and blues pop off that brown background. The art on this just goes absolutely crazy. I love that the guy, like the little samurai at the front, is using a P90 to like shoot at this huge beast. This one is super sick, guys. I would love to see this added to the game, and I think because of how muted the color scheme is, it might be like a purple, maybe even a blue or something like that, which would be absolutely awesome. It would mean more of us would get to use this sick skin. And if it seems familiar to any of you, the artist that made this actually made the Onitaji, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. Absolutely would love to see this one in CS2. Next up, we have the Famas Insane Punk. This thing goes absolutely crazy. It would definitely be one of those that would be float capped, I think. Even in like the nicer conditions he shows, it's very scratched up, and I think that would mean, you know, it'd probably be one that the best you could get was like in men wear. I love all the details on this thing. Even if we look at the flames toward the front of the gun, you can see it's stitched on like a motorcycle jacket. Very, very cool. I love the chain hanging on the back of it. I love the belt wrapped around where you'd put your hand. It's so cool. There's so much going on. There's a few different color schemes for this one too. All of them look just as good as the last. I think this would be an awesome skin to see added in CS2, and I think a lot of you would enjoy it. Okay guys, before you turn off the video, I know this doesn't hold a torch to the two we just looked at, but I think this would make for a really cool pattern in like a CS2 operation, maybe like a light blue or a gray. You know, they could adjust this color to be anything other than just blue, but I think blue looks good personally. I think the pattern is really beautiful, and I really appreciate somebody who can make really cool detailed patterns like this. I don't see anything hidden in it, which is a negative for me. You guys know I love my rare patterns and stuff like that, but still a super cool pattern, and I would love to see it at a really low tier in like a CS2 collection. Next up, guys, we've got another one I really hope we see added, and that is the Contamination Breach for the Desert Eagle. This thing's just gorgeous. The colors, the artwork on it, absolutely incredible. I love how he has like the water level being at like the bottom of the Desert Eagle, so that portion of the monster that is like on the handle, it's like breaching out of the water at the top. Super cool. It goes without saying that this guy is an absolutely insanely talented artist. You guys might know him most recently from he made the P90 Scarab, I believe it was called, that was in the Anubis collection. This guy's absolutely nuts. Looking at his artwork, I mean, we're so lucky to have this guy trying to make us skins for CSGO. Incredibly, incredibly lucky, and I hope we see this one added. An absolutely Omega Juicer Desert Eagle skin. Next up, guys, we've got the USP-S My Drilla. This thing goes absolutely crazy. The normal maps giving so much depth all over the body of the gun, even on the suppressor. It looks so cool. This guy made a whole animation, like intro for this skin. Insanely impressive. The color scheme goes nuts. My father kind of works in like a construction background. It looks exactly like, you know, the color scheme of like a DeWalt drill or something like that. Very cool. This is one of those that when I look at it, I'm instantly thinking of crafts we can make with this thing. I'm getting too far ahead of myself. I really hope we see it added. I think it would probably be around like a pink or higher though, but I think that's okay. It is truly a gorgeous skin with a lot of depth, and I would love to see it added. Next up, guys, we have the M249 Mirage TV. I think this was a genius idea, but there's some adjustments I would make to it personally. The magazine, obviously, It's so smart. I love it. It looks great. But the top of that gun is a little bland, so I think if we were to see this would add it, it would be really low in a case, and I think people wouldn't like it as much just because I think the TV isn't enough novelty for people to maybe like the skin. But what I think we can do to kind of fix that is maybe we add some more Mirage symbolism to the top of the gun. You know, maybe we do like a carpet pattern from Underpass. You know, there's that guy selling carpets. Maybe we use that pattern at the top to kind of break up the monotony of that like nasty concrete. Or even in some of these pictures, he shows the tile pattern on the ground. Maybe we do that up at the top to give it a little more depth and kind of break up that nastiness. But still a really good idea. And maybe if we get some kind of CS2 case paying homage to Counter-Strike as a whole, this would make for like an awesome blue in it or something. Next up, guys, we have the USP-S Hyper Beast 2, obviously made by Brock Hoffer, the artist of the original Hyper Beast skins you guys are so familiar with. He's back. He's making us some juicers for CS2. One of the first videos I made on my channel was talking about this USP-S and the AK that he made and how we need those in CS2. He has just evolved them here, making this USP-S even better, more vibrant. I think this is a shoe-in, guys. I think we will see this at some point. Maybe not when CS2 first comes out, but I think this thing is destined to get in the game. I think everybody pretty much wants it in the game, and I hope we can see that happen sooner rather than later. And based off how I was just talking, I'm sure a few of you saw this coming. Next up, we have the AK-47 Hyper Beast 2. Again, he's just updating that skin, bringing it into CS2 for us, and guess what? It's still an absolute banger. The colors go crazy, and just like I just said with the USP-S, I think everybody wants this. I'm sure some of you just aren't fans of the Hyper Beast, so you could care less, but I think as a whole, most of us want this in the game. And like I said with the USP-S, I think these are shoe-ins due to the success of the ones that are already in, and hopefully we see it sooner rather than later. Next up, guys, we've got the MAC-10 Elite Crew. I'm sure a lot of you are looking at this and you're thinking of the 5.7 Buddy that they already have in the game, or the Tech 9, I can't remember the name of it. Putting faces on the back of guns is kind of like their trademark, and guess what? It looks good. It looks really good. These guys are insanely talented artists. I love how the bandana pattern he's got like extends to the front of the gun and they like continue it down the side. Super cool. If any of you OGs remember the Elite Crew guy, I believe it was from Source. That's a little before my time. I'm just going off the image here. I never played much Source in the day. I played a few like custom game modes on it with my boys back in school, but apparently there was a guy, an Elite Crew character in it, and that's what this is based off of. I'm talking out my ass here. Like I said, fake fan. I didn't play Source much back in the day, but it does look exactly like him, and I'm sure it's giving a nostalgia blast to a lot of you that played Source back in the day. I think this thing looks super cool, and I would love to see it added. Mixing it up here, I'm throwing a Zeus in. My last video was just about Zeus's, and the reason I'm including this one is it's a super cool pattern. I'm sure he has this on other guns too. I just saw it on the Zeus. It reminds me a lot of that T-Rex Rampage, whatever P90 skin, Coco Rampage, that's what it is, that we already have in the game. I think the colors he chose for this look super cool. I'd love to see it on pretty much anything, but we would definitely want it to be a blue or lower due to how unvibrant it is. Still a super cool pattern that I think a lot of us would like to see in CS2. Next up, guys, we have the AK-47 magazines. This thing goes absolutely crazy, pattern-based. The colors on it, very interesting. It just looks like a ton of magazines and newspapers piled up. I'm sure there would be tons of rare patterns for this thing. I would absolutely love to see it added. I don't think there's anything that really goes for this kind of black, red, white color scheme, at least in this way. And guys, I really think this artist could change these headlines to be just about anything, and he could use that to maybe get it into some sort of themed case. like with Dreams and Nightmares, you know, they told all the artists, we want, you know, skins that are about dreams and nightmares. Let's say if they did that with CS2 and they're like, we want stuff that pays homage to Counter-Strike. He can make some of these headlines say like Counter-Strike 11 years old, you know, whatever, stuff like that. I think it'd be super cool, and I think a lot of you would like to see an AK with this kind of color scheme added to the game. Mixing it up again, I know I said this was skins I wanted to see in CS2, but I saw this one and I had to talk about it. We have the missing texture spray. Where are my Gmod guys at? I have played thousands of hours of Gmod back in the day, and you know, you gotta have the source textures installed or everything looks like this. I think this is such a cool idea. I would have liked if it was just, you know, square, you know, missing texture spray. I think I would like this one if it was just, you know, pink and black squares. But adding in that extra layer of making it look like the game is like breaking and the ground is cracking open, revealing, you know, the missing texture below, that is so cool. I think this one is a massive W, guys, and I think a lot of us would love to see this one added. And I really can't stress enough how good of an idea this was, and congratulations to the artist for making such a cool spray. Alright, for all my adults that play with Legos, next up we've got the AUG Blocked and Loaded. Super cool skin. Obviously, you know, we can't really reference anything like Lego specifically. I'm sure they're just going for like the these are building blocks, whatever kind of path. It still looks absolutely incredible though. The studs pop out so well. I don't know if it's CS2 doing that. I don't know if this would be possible in regular CSGO, but the depth on them looks incredible. It literally looks like it's made out of Legos. It kind of blew my mind. I think this would look good on any gun, but I think the AUG is a good choice because of that black scope and the mag at the bottom. I think this looks really good, and I would love to see it added. It is pretty bright though. It might have to be kind of higher up, but I think a lot of you would like this one. Really hope we see this one added very soon. Next up, guys, we have the M4A4 Wild Wings. What initially got me to put this one in here is just the colors. I absolutely would love if we had an A4 in the game that had this kind of color scheme of like yellow, black, and purple. I think it goes absolutely crazy, and we also have teal accents as well. Obviously, this is one that they would definitely censor, and we can see they've already done that for a Chinese release. Absolutely gorgeous artwork. I love at the front of the gun we have those eyes kind of peering through. I love the skull wearing its like golden crown or whatever it is. I think it all looks really great, and I would love to see this one added to the game. Next up, guys, we have the 5.7 Vandal. This one is like a super cool composition in my opinion. I think the colors go absolutely crazy. There's so many going on, so much writing all over it. It's one of those that you're going to be inspecting and looking at for a long time. Tons of possibility for sticker crafts on this thing as well. Super cool. I'm not sure how you guys are going to feel about this one. I am a person that definitely leans toward more vibrant stuff. I like tons of random colors and all that kind of nonsense. Maybe some of you won't like this one as much. I would love to know down in the comments, but this one is a huge W for me, and I would love to see it added soon. This one I have to talk about. It is the Deep Dish Famas. It is a pattern-based pizza Famas skin. I absolutely love this thing. I can already see it being in an upcoming Rare Patterns video where, you know, you've got one that only has like pepperoni on it, and then you have one where the anchovies centered, all that kind of stuff. Super cool. It looks a little glossy. I'm not sure if there's something the artist could do to maybe make it where it isn't as shiny. I think this is one that maybe would need to look a little bit rougher, but that pattern is so cool. And I'm sure a lot of us would enjoy this one as a lower tier skin in a case. Next up, we have the Glock 18 Legacy, and this is the pearlescent version. S+ presentation on this. I mean, just look at this render right here. Absolutely crazy. This is so awesome. Like, putting in all this extra work is definitely worth it, and is definitely going to get people looking at this skin, which is a good thing because the skin itself goes very hard. It's got that old computer look to it. It's got like the Matrix number falling screen along the side. Very, very cool. The neon green accents as well add to it. We have the little on button. We've got some USB ports to the front. I'd imagine this would be a pink or a red, but it's definitely one that if it got added, I would be scrambling to try to pick up. Some neon green stickers on this thing as well would go absolutely crazy. I really, really hope we get to see this one in the game one day. Next up, we've got the op time to eat. This thing has some absolutely gorgeous kind of anime art style art on it. I love all the bright colors going around. We've got this like red panda jumping, chasing after this ramen bowl flying through the air. So many words just scrambled throughout the background and kind of like a graffiti art style. I also have to point out, I absolutely love that pink trim on the scope and the mag, breaking up the blacker areas of the gun. I think this one would be super cool as like a pink in a case. A really gorgeous skin with a super cute little character on it that I think a lot of us would like to see added at some point. Next up, we've got one I've talked about in a previous video. This is the M4A4 Hydro Strike, and he has brought it over to CS2 for us, and damn is it looking good. I have seen a lot of people try to go this water gun route, you know, make this gun look like a water gun, and I think he knocks it out of the park on this one. Looking at the magazine, we can see, you know, it looks like it has water in it. And even if we look at some of the clear bits up toward the top, it looks like they have water resting in them. And on top of all that, the gun has water droplets all over it as if you've been in a water fight. He's putting on an absolute clinic in skin making. This thing goes crazy. Valve, add this to CS2 or I will stop playing. That's not true, but I really want it. Please, please, please. Next up, one I think a lot of you have seen already. I've seen it all over TikTok. I've seen streamers reacting to it, and that is the Op Porcelain. Guys, this thing goes so hard. I absolutely love how glossy it is, and when you inspect it, you kind of see that like cracking texture he's added all over it. It looks so good. The gold trimming, again, made by the same guy that made the M4 I was just talking about. He's putting on a clinic, guys. He is raising the bar of what other skin creators are gonna have to do if they want their skins in the game, or this guy is just gonna clean up and take the whole next case for himself. But I'll say this, if he is making stuff like that M4 and this, I would love to see a case of just his skins because he is knocking it out of the park. He did this on a few different guns. They all look beautiful. I chose to show the Op. It's my favorite, but I'm sure a lot of you would enjoy the other ones as well, and I'll show a quick image of them here. Definitely go check those out if you want to. Links in the description as always. Guys, that's all I've got for you today. I hope I put you onto some cool skins. Make sure, as always, you go down to the description, click the skins you like, and go support them, because that's how we get them in the game at the end of the day. Also, guys, if you ever want to talk about CSGO or just crafts in general, make sure you join my Discord. We're always sharing cool crafts with each other in there, and we'd love to have you. Guys, make sure you let me know which of these skins you like the most in the comments down below. That's all I have for you, and I will see you guys next time.